Chosen one, what I am about to reveal to you may surprise or even shock you. It may stir something deep within your soul, something you've sensed your entire life but could never fully understand. If you are watching this right now, know this: you are not here by accident. This is a divine appointment. God has led you to this moment because it is time for you to uncover a truth that has been hidden from you for too long. A truth that, once revealed, will change the way you see yourself and your purpose forever. Since the day you were born, something about you has been different. You felt it as a child, didn't you? A quiet knowing, a whisper in your spirit telling you that the world around you wasn't quite as it seemed. You may not have been able to explain it, but you knew, you were not like the others. The way people treated you, the way life unfolded for you, it was as if you were living in a reality that didn't quite fit. And now, I need you to understand why. They kept something from you. Those around you, society, maybe even your own family, they did not tell you the full truth about who you are. But God has seen it all. He has been waiting for the perfect time to awaken you to your true identity. And now, that time has come. You are not just another person living an ordinary life. You have been chosen, set apart since birth, and given a name that carries power, meaning, and destiny. But somewhere along the way, that name, that identity, was taken from you. And without knowing who you truly are, how can you step into the life you were meant to live? I need you to stay with me until the end of this message because what you are about to discover will connect the missing pieces of your past. It will explain why you have always felt different, why the world has never quite made sense to you, and why you have endured the trials that you have. This is the moment when everything begins to come together. And if you are truly ready to receive this revelation, if your soul already recognizes the truth, then type 999 in the comments below. This number carries powerful energy, a confirmation that you are aligned with this message. And before we go deeper, I ask you to do one more thing: like this video and subscribe. Not because of an algorithm, but because this message needs to reach those who are still searching, those who are on the verge of awakening but haven't yet seen the signs. Together, we are building a community of the chosen, and your support helps this message find those who need it the most. Our goal is 10,000 chosen ones gathered in one place, because when we stand together, our light is unstoppable. Now, take a deep breath and prepare yourself. We are about to embark on a journey into the depths of your soul, unlocking the truth that has been hidden from you for far too long. The answers you've been seeking are closer than you think. And come to the end of this journey, because you will see yourself through God's eyes, and things will never be the same again. From the earliest moments of your childhood, there was something about you that felt different. Life never seemed as simple or straightforward as it did for those around you. It was as if you were born with an inner compass, one that constantly pointed towards something unseen, something beyond what the world was teaching you. While others seemed content with what they were told, you had questions, deep questions that no one seemed willing to answer. And when you asked, people dismissed you, telling you that you thought too much, that you were imagining things. But you weren't imagining. You were awakening. Do you remember those moments when you felt an indescribable knowing? A sense that there was more to life than what met the eye. Maybe as a child, you would stare at the sky, feeling as though someone, was watching over you, calling you to something greater. Perhaps you experienced dreams so vivid they felt like memories, or you sensed emotions in others before they ever spoke a word. It wasn't just imagination, it was awareness. A heightened sense of perception that made you feel both deeply connected to the universe and, at times, profoundly alone. You've always felt different, haven't you? While other children played without a care in the world, you were observing, analyzing, and sensing things they couldn't. You noticed patterns in life that others ignored. You could feel the energy of a place shift the moment you stepped into it. You felt emotions so intensely that, at times, they overwhelmed you. And the hardest part? No one ever explained why. No one ever told you that this wasn't a flaw, it was a gift. Take a moment to think back. Was there a time in your childhood when you felt like you were living in a world that didn't quite make sense? Maybe you looked at the adults around you and wondered why they seemed blind to things that were so clear to you. Perhaps you felt an unspoken wisdom within you, something that even you couldn't fully explain. And when you tried to put it into words, people dismissed you, made you feel like you were strange. But you weren't strange. You were set apart. Many chosen ones experience this feeling of not fully belonging. It's not that you were meant to be isolated, but that you were meant to be different. Think about the great figures in history, prophets, visionaries, revolutionaries. They, too, were misunderstood. They, too, questioned the world around them. They, too, carried something within them that made others uncomfortable. And yet, it was that very thing that made them extraordinary. If you are resonating with this, I want you to share your experience in the comments. What was one moment in your childhood when you realized you were different? Was it a dream, a feeling, an event that no one else could explain? Don't hold back, your story could be the confirmation someone else needs to hear. The world has tried to make you forget who you are. It has buried your true nature under layers of conditioning, telling you to fit in, to be normal. But deep inside, you have always known the truth. You were not meant to conform. You were meant to see, to understand, to awaken. And now, that time has come. The more you embrace this truth, the clearer everything will become. Stay with me, because we are only beginning to uncover the reality that has been hidden from you. There was a time when you tried to fit in. Maybe as a child, you watched how others laughed so effortlessly, how they found joy in the simplest things, and you wished you could do the same. You mimicked their words, their actions, their excitement, but something inside you felt out of place. It was as if you were watching a performance where everyone knew their role, except you. While they played without worry, you asked questions that no one else seemed to care about. Why am I here? Why do I feel so different? And the hardest part? No one had answers for you. Even in the comfort of family, school, or friendships, there was always this invisible wall between you and the rest of the world. People would talk about things that seemed so trivial, but you wanted to discuss the why behind everything. You noticed patterns in human behavior before you even knew what patterns were. You sensed emotions in others long before they spoke them. You could enter a room and immediately feel the energy, whether light or heavy, pure or tainted. Have you ever experienced this? A moment when you knew something was off, even when no one else seemed to notice? If so, you are not imagining things. This is one of the earliest signs of a chosen one. There are people in this world who walk through life asleep. They accept reality as it is given to them. They follow the paths they were told to follow, never questioning why. They pursue success, money, relationships, all while feeling a quiet emptiness they can't explain. But you saw through it. You noticed the routine, the repetition, the hollowness. While others accepted life at face value, you were searching for something real. And because of that, you have often felt isolated, not physically, but in spirit. It wasn't loneliness in the traditional sense, but a deeper knowing that the world was not quite what it seemed. Do you remember the first time you felt truly different? Maybe it was as a child, sitting in a classroom, wondering why the rules of the world seemed so limited. Maybe it was in a moment of deep reflection, staring at the sky and feeling a connection to something beyond words. Or maybe it was through suffering, being misunderstood, being rejected, being forced into solitude. Chosen ones do not walk an easy path. They are often separated from the crowd because they were never meant to follow it. I want you to take a moment and reflect. When did you first sense that you were different? What was the first experience that made you feel like you didn't quite belong? Share it in the comments, because your story is important. You are not alone in this journey, and there are others who have felt exactly as you have. The truth is, you were never meant to fit in, you were meant to awaken. That feeling of being different was never a mistake, it was your soul recognizing that it had a greater mission. The world has tried to convince you that being different is something to be corrected, that your deep thoughts, your heightened awareness, your questioning nature are flaws. But what if I told you that they are proof that you were chosen? What if everything you once saw as a weakness was actually a sign of your spiritual calling? Stay with me, because the next part of this journey will confirm everything you've ever felt. The signs have always been there, but now, it's time for you to fully understand them. You are closer than ever to discovering the truth about yourself. There are moments when you step into a place and immediately sense something is off. Maybe it's the heaviness in the air, the unspoken tension in a room, or an overwhelming feeling that something is about to happen. Before a word is spoken, before an action is taken, you already feel it. And as a child, you might not have understood why. You may have thought it was just your imagination, but it wasn't, it was your spiritual awareness awakening. From an early age, you were sensitive to energies in a way that others weren't. While some could walk through life oblivious, you absorbed the emotions of those around you. You felt the silent pain behind someone's smile, the unspoken sadness hidden beneath laughter. Have you ever entered a room and instantly felt the weight of something invisible, as if the air itself carried emotions? If so, this is not a coincidence, it is one of the signs that you were chosen. This heightened awareness was not always easy to carry. It may have made you feel exhausted, as if the emotions of others clung to you like an unseen weight. Perhaps there were times when you avoided crowds, not because you disliked people, but because their energy drained you. Maybe certain people made you uneasy, and later, you found out they were hiding something. These experiences weren't random, they were proof that you were born with a gift of perception that others could not comprehend. Most people live their lives blind to the frequencies around them, but you have always felt them. While others see only the physical world, you sense something deeper. And though this sensitivity may have felt like a burden, it was never meant to break you, it was given to prepare you. The chosen ones are not just thinkers, they are feelers. They carry an intuitive knowing that goes beyond logic. This is why, even as a child, you might have struggled to explain how you just knew things without being told. Think about your life. Have you ever walked away from someone or something, even when there was no logical reason to do so, only to later realize that your instinct was right? Have you ever felt the presence of someone before they even entered the room? Or maybe you have woken up from dreams that felt more real than reality itself. If so, you are not alone. The chosen ones share this gift, and it is a sign that you are connected to something greater. But here is the truth, this ability is not meant to be hidden or suppressed. It is meant to be embraced. The more you lean into it, the more you will understand your divine purpose. You were never meant to ignore these feelings, you were meant to use them. This sensitivity is part of your mission, part of your calling. It allows you to navigate the world in a way that others cannot. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever had an experience where you sensed something before it happened? Have you ever walked into a place and felt an energy shift so strong that it unsettled you? Share your experience in the comments, because your story matters. You are not alone in this, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it was meant to. As we go deeper into this message, you will begin to understand why you were given this awareness, and what it means for your path ahead. You are stepping into a realization that will change everything. Stay with me, because the next revelation will confirm what your soul has always known, you were never ordinary. There are dreams, and then there are messages. If you are truly one of the chosen ones, you have experienced something beyond ordinary dreaming. Some nights, you close your eyes, and suddenly, you are not just dreaming, you are somewhere else. The details are vivid, the emotions intense, and when you wake up, you carry the weight of that experience with you. These dreams linger in your mind, as if they are more than just fragments of imagination. They feel like memories, memories of something that has not yet happened, or perhaps something that was always meant to be. And then, something even more extraordinary happens. Days, weeks, or even years later, that very dream becomes reality. You find yourself in a place you have never been before, yet it feels familiar, as if you have walked those streets before. You meet someone new, yet deep inside, you feel like you have always known them. You witness an event unfold exactly as it did in your dream, and in that moment, you realize that time is not as linear as people believe. These are not mere coincidences. This is a sign that you are connected to something beyond the physical world. Since childhood, you may have felt this strange pull toward the unknown. You saw glimpses of things before they happened. You felt the energy of a moment before it unfolded. Maybe you sensed when someone was going to call you, or you felt an uneasiness before hearing bad news. Some may have dismissed these experiences as mere intuition, but you know the truth. This is not just instinct, this is spiritual sight. The chosen ones do not just navigate the present, they see into the future. The Bible is filled with examples of those who were given dreams and visions as divine messages. Joseph, the son of Jacob, saw visions of his destiny long before it came to pass, Genesis 37 verses 5 to 10. Daniel received prophetic dreams that revealed the rise and fall of kingdoms, Daniel 7. These were not just random occurrences, they were divine revelations. And if you, too, have experienced such dreams, know that you are walking in the footsteps of those whom God has called before. But this gift is not always easy to bear. Perhaps as a child, you shared a dream with someone, only to be met with skepticism. You may have been told that you were just imagining things, that dreams mean nothing. Over time, you learn to keep these experiences to yourself. But deep down, you always knew, there was something more. Have you ever woken up from a dream that left you shaken, as if it carried a message you could not yet understand? Have you ever felt an unexplainable connection to a place you had never been? If you have, do not ignore these signs. Share your experience in the comments. Your story may be the confirmation that someone else has been searching for. There is power in testimony, and when chosen ones come together, the truth is revealed. Most people sleep through life, unaware of the signs, blind to the messages woven into their dreams. But not you. You have always known that there is more. That whisper in your soul, that sudden realization, that deep sense of knowing, it is all part of the path you were meant to walk. Now, I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes and reflect. Have you ever had a dream so real, so vivid, that it felt more like a memory than a fantasy? Have you ever received a warning in a dream that later saved you from harm? If so, know this, you were meant to remember. God has been speaking to you in ways most people cannot comprehend. And now, it is time to embrace this gift, to sharpen it, and to step fully into your divine calling. As we continue, you will begin to understand why you were given this ability and how to use it. This is not the end of the message, this is just the beginning of your awakening. Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. There are no coincidences, only divine alignment. Have you ever stopped to wonder why certain events in your life unfolded the way they did? Why you happened to be in the right place at the right time? Why, just when you thought you were at your breaking point, a door opened that changed everything? These are not random moments. These are signs, carefully orchestrated by a higher power, guiding you along the path you were always meant to walk. Think back to the times when something saved you from disaster at the very last second. Maybe you missed a flight, only to later hear that something went terribly wrong with that plane. Perhaps you took a different route home one day, avoiding an accident you never saw coming. Maybe you encountered someone who gave you the exact advice, the exact message you needed to hear in that moment, someone you might never see again. These are not accidents. These are divine interventions, reminders that you are being watched over and guided toward your purpose. Throughout history, the chosen ones have experienced these mysterious coincidences. Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, found himself in Egypt at just the right time to interpret Pharaoh's dream and save an entire nation from famine, Genesis 41. Moses, who should have perished as a baby, was placed in a basket on the river and ended up being raised in Pharaoh's own household, exactly where he needed to be to later lead his people to freedom, Exodus 2. Esther, a young woman in exile, became queen at just the right time to prevent the destruction of her people, Esther 4 verse 14. If you pay close attention, you will see that your life, too, has been full of these divine alignments. Most people dismiss these moments as luck or chance, but deep down, you know better. There is a force at work in your life that others cannot see, an invisible hand redirecting you, protecting you, and ensuring that you arrive exactly where you are meant to be. But here's the question, have you been paying attention? Have you been acknowledging these divine interventions, or have you been chalking them up to mere coincidences? Think about your own journey. Have you ever had a moment where something unexplainable happened, something that shifted your path in a way you could not have planned? Have you ever felt an overwhelming sense of being protected, even when you didn't realize you were in danger? If you have, share your experience in the comments below. These stories matter, because when chosen ones share their testimonies, others begin to see the patterns in their own lives. Right now, you are being called to awaken fully to the truth. Nothing in your life has been random. The struggles, the setbacks, even the people who hurt you, all of it has been part of a divine preparation. God has been placing signs before you, urging you to recognize His presence and step fully into your calling. But He will not force you to see. It is up to you to open your eyes and embrace the truth. So I ask you, are you ready to stop doubting? Are you ready to start seeing these so-called coincidences for what they truly are? Because once you do, everything changes. The more you recognize divine intervention, the stronger your faith becomes, and the more clearly you will see the next steps on your path. This is not the end of the message, it is just the beginning of your awakening. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal even more about who you truly are. There are moments in life when you meet someone for the first time, yet something about them feels strangely familiar. It's as if you've known them before, as if your souls recognize each other even though your minds insist that you are strangers. Have you ever felt this? A connection so deep, so instant, that it defies logic? This is not coincidence, this is destiny at work. Some people come into your life not by chance, but because they are meant to guide you, challenge you, or awaken something within you. The chosen ones often experience these profound connections, but they are not always easy to understand. Sometimes, these individuals come into your life to help you fulfill your mission, to remind you of who you truly are, or to teach you a lesson that will prepare you for the next phase of your journey. Other times, they enter only briefly, leaving behind a mark on your soul, shifting your perspective forever. These encounters are divine appointments, orchestrated by forces beyond what the eye can see. And it's not just people. Have you ever visited a place you had never been before, yet the moment you arrived, it felt like home? As if you had walked those streets, touched those walls, or stood in that exact spot in another time, another life. The chosen ones often feel an unexplainable connection to certain places, drawn to them by something beyond memory. Perhaps it's a place where you lived in a past life, a location tied to your spiritual ancestry, or simply a space vibrating at the same frequency as your soul. Whatever the reason, these places call to you for a purpose. They awaken something within you, triggering memories, emotions, or a deep sense of belonging. The more you awaken, the more these experiences become undeniable. You begin to notice that certain faces feel familiar, that certain places stir something deep within you. These are signs that you are remembering who you truly are, that you are stepping into the awareness of your soul's greater journey. But here's the question, have you been paying attention? Have you ever met someone and felt as if you had known them before? Have you ever stood in a place and felt like you were returning, rather than arriving? If so, share your experience in the comments. Your story might help another chosen one recognize the same patterns in their life. In the Bible, God often led His chosen ones to specific places for divine purposes. Abraham was called to leave his homeland and journey to the land that God would show him, Genesis 12 verse 1. Moses was drawn to the burning bush, a place where he would receive his divine assignment, Exodus 3 verses 2 to 4. Even Jesus himself often withdrew to certain mountains and deserts to pray, places that resonated with his spirit and strengthened his connection to God. Could it be that the places you feel drawn to have a spiritual significance for you as well? And what about the people who have appeared in your life? Think back, who has left an impact on you in ways you can't explain? Who has entered your life and changed its course forever? These are not ordinary relationships, these are soul contracts, divine connections meant to awaken and shape you. Perhaps you are even meant to be that person for someone else, to be the light that guides them back to their purpose. These connections are not random. They are proof that you are being guided, that your soul's journey is unfolding exactly as it should. So, I ask you, are you ready to embrace these signs? Are you ready to stop dismissing them as mere coincidences and start seeing them for what they truly are, evidence that you are walking the path of the chosen? This is just the beginning. The more you align with your purpose, the more these connections will reveal themselves. Pay attention. Trust your instincts. And most importantly, keep moving forward, because what comes next will confirm everything you have ever felt but could never explain. Stay with me, your awakening is only just beginning. Chosen one, every experience in your life has led you to this very moment. The signs, the dreams, the unexplained feelings, the sense of not belonging, the intuition that has guided you since childhood, none of it was a coincidence. The world may have tried to convince you otherwise, making you doubt yourself, but deep down, you always knew. You were chosen. From the moment you were born, there was a purpose attached to your soul. That is why you never quite fit in. That is why you always saw the world differently. You were never meant to follow the path of the majority because God set you apart for something greater. And now, at this very moment, He is calling you to acknowledge it fully. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle into your spirit. You were never lost. You were always being guided. The times you felt alone, God was there. The moments of struggle, He was refining you. The setbacks, the disappointments, the closed doors, they were never meant to break you, only to redirect you toward your divine calling. Everything that happened was necessary to awaken you to this realization. Now, the signs around you will become clearer. The whispers of divine guidance will grow louder. The people who no longer align with your purpose will begin to fade, and those who are truly meant to walk with you will appear. You will start to notice how the universe conspires in your favor, leading you exactly where you need to be. This is your confirmation. You are stepping into your destiny. Let this be the moment you fully accept who you are. No more doubt. No more fear. No more questioning your worth. You are not just anyone, you are one of the chosen few. And now that you know this truth, you must walk in it with courage and conviction. You have been given a mission, and the world is waiting for you to fulfill it. Now, I want to hear from you. What signs have you experienced in your life? Have you ever had a dream that came true? Have you ever met someone for the first time but felt like you've known them forever? Have you ever felt protected in ways you couldn't explain? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story may help someone else recognize their own signs. And before you go, take a moment to bless others with this message. Share this video so that more chosen ones can awaken to their divine calling. If this message has spoken to your heart, type, "I am ready for my breakthrough," in the comments. Let the universe, let God, let everyone know that you are stepping into your power. Heavenly Father, today, I thank you for every soul who has received this message. You have led them here, not by accident, but by divine appointment. Lord, I pray that you remove every doubt from their hearts. Let them no longer question who they are or why they are here. Instead, fill them with an unshakable faith in their purpose. I pray that you continue to reveal signs to them, guiding them in the direction you have planned for them. Let their intuition grow stronger, their wisdom deepen, and their spirit rise with confidence. Surround them with the right people, protect them from distractions, and give them the strength to walk boldly into their destiny. For those who have felt lost, remind them that they were never alone. For those who have faced hardship, let them see that every challenge was a preparation for something greater. For those who are afraid to take the next step, give them the courage to step forward in faith. Father, I ask for divine blessings over them, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Let abundance flow into their lives, not just in material ways, but in joy, in peace, in strength, and in purpose. May they live each day knowing they are chosen, set apart, and deeply loved by you. In Jesus' name, Amen. Your journey is only just beginning. Walk with confidence, knowing that you were chosen for a reason. The best is yet to come.